On a cold November morning in 2025, the war between Russia and Ukraine changed forever. The world awoke to a new reality as the boundaries of conflict were suddenly and dramatically redrawn. The shift didn't come from a grinding advance in the trenches, but from a thunderous explosion deep inside Russian territory, far from the familiar front lines. A single Ukrainian drone, flying undetected for over 1,300 kilometers, struck a critical industrial target. This was not just a tactical victory but a demonstration of reach and resolve, showing that distance was no longer a barrier. The attack shattered Russia's illusion of safety, exposing vulnerabilities in its vast rear areas. Suddenly, Moscow was forced to confront the reality that its heartland was no longer untouchable, and its strategic calculations had to change overnight. The war, once confined to Ukrainian soil, had spilled over. Ukraine had proven it could strike at the very core of Russia's war machine, sending a powerful message to both its adversary and the world. The psychological shock was immense. Russian leaders awoke to the news that a facility in Bashkortostan, closer to Kazakhstan than Ukraine, had been hit, shattering any sense of security they once had. If a single drone could slip through Russia's defenses, what else might be at risk? The question echoed through the halls of power and across the country. Now, Russia faces the daunting, nearly impossible task of defending hundreds, if not thousands, of potential targets scattered across its immense territory. Its resources, already stretched by the war, are now thinner than ever. This strike marks the dawn of a new era in warfare, one defined by asymmetric tactics, where innovation, agility, and surprise can outweigh sheer numbers and brute force. Ukraine is no longer just defending its borders. It's now taking the fight directly to the enemy's economic and logistical core, forcing Russia to rethink its entire approach to the conflict. The attack on Sturlitomok revealed Russia's greatest weakness, the vulnerability of its unguarded rear. In a single strike, the map of war was redrawn, and the rules of engagement changed forever. The Sturlitomok petrochemical plant, deep in Bashkortostan, was no random target. This sprawling facility stands as a symbol of Russia's industrial might, nestled far from the front lines and believed to be out of reach from any direct threat. At 1,300 kilometers from Ukraine, it seemed untouchable, until a Ukrainian drone proved otherwise. The drone's journey across vast stretches of Russian territory shattered the illusion of safety that distance once provided. The plant is vital to Russia's military, producing synthetic rubber and high-grade aviation fuel. These materials are essential for keeping Russia's war machine running, fueling everything from fighter jets to armored vehicles. Damaging its water treatment facility wasn't just sabotage, it was a calculated move to cripple operations with minimal resources. By targeting a critical but vulnerable point, Ukraine maximized the impact of a single strike, disrupting production for weeks, or even months. Disrupting fuel production directly impacts Russia's ability to wage war, grounding jets and stalling tanks. The ripple effects are felt across the battlefield, as supply lines falter and military operations slow down. This wasn't a one-off. Similar strikes in Nizhny Novgorod show Ukraine is systematically targeting Russia's war economy. Each attack chips away at the infrastructure that sustains the Russian military effort. Each attack forces Russia to defend an impossible number of sites, draining its resources. The sheer scale of Russia's industrial network makes comprehensive protection nearly impossible, stretching security forces thin. Ukraine's message is clear: nowhere is safe if it supports the invasion. Every facility tied to the war effort is now a potential target, no matter how remote or well-guarded. Moscow is now trapped in a losing game of whack-a-mole, scrambling to protect its vast industrial base. The Kremlin faces mounting pressure as it tries to anticipate the next strike, knowing that every success for Ukraine erodes Russia's strategic advantage. The balance of power is shifting, one precise strike at a time. With each successful attack, Ukraine demonstrates its reach and resolve, reshaping the battlefield far beyond the front lines. The Sturlitomok strike showcases Ukraine's rapid leap in drone warfare. These aren't off-the-shelf drones, they're homegrown, long-range, and designed to evade Russian air defenses. Ukraine's decentralized approach, involving private companies and volunteers, fuels relentless innovation. A unique reward system incentivizes drone units. The more successful the strike, the more resources they earn. This gamified system accelerates learning and adaptation, making Ukraine's drone force smarter and deadlier each week. Operators share tactics and modify drones in real time, outpacing Russia's rigid command structure. The result, a dynamic, ever-evolving threat that turns Russia's geographic depth into a liability. Ukraine is proving that technological agility can challenge even the largest conventional armies. The war's future is being shaped by thousands of creative minds, not just generals. The 1,000 or 300-kilometer drone flight to Sturlitamak shattered the myth of Russia's impenetrable air defenses, revealing vulnerabilities that many believed did not exist. Russia's vast territory is riddled with gaps. Its air defense net is thick near Moscow, but grows dangerously thin elsewhere, especially across remote regions and industrial heartlands. These systems were designed to counter high-altitude bombers and missiles, but they struggle to detect and intercept small, low-flying drones that can slip through unnoticed. Ukraine's drones exploit these weaknesses, flying low and using the natural contours of the land, forests, hills, and rivers, to avoid detection and reach deep into Russian territory. Many critical industrial sites, built during the Soviet era with a false sense of security, now lack adequate defenses against modern threats like drones. To protect these vulnerable sites, Russia would have to pull valuable air defense assets away from the front lines, weakening its military position in Ukraine and stretching its resources even thinner. Every successful drone strike forces Moscow into a difficult choice: defend the front or protect the homeland, knowing that it cannot do both effectively at once. This strategic dilemma drains resources, creates uncertainty, and steadily undermines public confidence in the regime's ability to keep the country safe. The war is no longer just at the border. It is now inside Russia, eroding the Kremlin's carefully cultivated image of total control and security. Ukraine has shown exactly where to aim and how to keep Russia off balance, forcing Moscow to confront a new and unpredictable threat on its own soil. The Sturlitamak strike is just one front in Ukraine's expanding campaign. Ukraine has hit Russian assets from occupied territories to the Black Sea, including a precision drone strike on the Sivash oil rig near Crimea. That attack destroyed elite Russian forces and surveillance gear, weakening Russia's grip on the Black Sea. Each operation degrades Russian control, disrupts logistics, and proves that no asset is out of reach. With new Western-supplied missiles, Ukraine can now strike command posts and depots deep behind enemy lines. The cumulative effect: Russia faces threats from every direction, forced into a reactive defensive posture. The battlefield is now a fluid, unpredictable space, no longer a simple line on a map. Ukraine's ingenuity is forcing Russia to fight on terms it never expected. The cost of occupation is rising, and the initiative is shifting. Moscow's response to Ukraine's deep strikes has been brutal and predictable. Unable to stop the attacks, Russia retaliates with missile and drone barrages against Ukrainian cities, targeting civilians and infrastructure. Propaganda claims of intercepting dozens of drones ring hollow as evidence of successful Ukrainian strikes mounts. Russia's intelligence-driven attacks, like the deadly strike on a Ukrainian awards ceremony, show its willingness to target even ceremonial events. Meanwhile, Putin touts new super weapons, like the Burevestnik missile, using nuclear rhetoric to intimidate the West. These boasts mask Russia's frustration and strategic setbacks. The indiscriminate violence and nuclear threats reveal a regime lashing out from a position of weakness. Ukraine's innovation has left Moscow scrambling for answers. While Ukraine innovates, the ground war in Donbass rages on, now centered on Pokrovsk, a vital logistics hub. Russian forces, after taking Avdiivka, are pushing hard to capture the city, hoping to sever Ukrainian supply lines and open a path west. The battle is brutal urban combat, with control of streets changing hands daily. Ukraine rushes reinforcements and heavy equipment to hold the line, while President Zelensky visits the front to boost morale. Russia's strategy remains one of overwhelming force, regardless of casualties. Ukraine, meanwhile, leverages its technological edge elsewhere, striking deep into Russian territory. The outcome in Pokrovsk will shape the front, but the war is now fought both in trenches and in the skies. Two dimensions of conflict, attrition on the ground, innovation in the air, are redefining the struggle. November 2025 marks a turning point. Ukraine's deep strikes have shattered Russia's sense of security and forced a new strategic reality. Russia's vastness is now a vulnerability, not a shield, as Ukraine's long-range attacks force Moscow to spread its defenses thin. International partners are adapting. Joint drone production with the Netherlands and more Storm Shadow missiles from the UK are scaling up Ukraine's capabilities. NATO neighbors, like Romania, are on high alert, recognizing the regional stakes. Russia doubles down on attrition and nuclear threats, but its rigid doctrine is being outmaneuvered by Ukrainian innovation. The war is now a contest between Russian mass and Ukrainian ingenuity. Ukraine's strikes are dismantling the myth of Russian invincibility, making the war's cost unbearable for Moscow. The future will be decided not just in the trenches, but deep inside Russia's own heartland.